Mike Dell's World, number 106 for January 12th, 2009.
Truck just sat there. I believe it was not going to move another inch. Boy, I tell you, not a penny more invested. I was going to leave it there, near the fork in the road. But I did have a thought. I kind of thought to myself, what if I tried just one more time? What if I pumped the accelerator and turned the ignition? What if I give it some shots? You boys ready for some shots? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And that was the Wild Turkeys. It was Vaughn Alexander, Devin Alexander, Byron Jackalsman, Marshall Jackalsman, and Sheldon Jackalsman. Anyway, got to interview those guys this last weekend on my radio show, and they gave me permission to play some tunes off of their CD called Unplucked. They're a obviously bluegrassy old-time band out of Northern Ontario, Canada. Actually, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada, just across the river from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and tucked in between is my favorite place in Michigan, Sugar Island. So, kind of a local group, sort of, although they're on the other side of the dotted line up north there. But anyway, we'll hear from them a little bit later in the podcast, I'm sure. They were a lot of fun in the studio. In fact, I did record that, but the record quality, or the quality of the mic setup in there wasn't completely optimum. I haven't actually listened to the recording, but I mean, it sounded cool for radio. But I think their studio mixes sound really good too. And they got another album out after this one. This one's called Unplugged. They have another one called Suspendered. If you go check them out, I'll have a link in the show notes to their MySpace page. But I believe you can get their CDs off the web page there, I'm sure. But anyway, if you get to see the album art, well, actually, the album art on the Unplugged CD is pretty good. But I gotta say that the one on their Suspendered CD is classic. You'll just have to see it. But anyway, it was a lot of fun interviewing the guys, and they played at a couple of local places around here in Traverse City, and then they were headed home to Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Anyway, it's been kind of a boring week other than that. Like I said, that was kind of the highlight of my week. Just wish I was better at interviewing. Might have them on via Skype sometime. I gave them one of my cards, so hopefully they'll check out the podcast and get a hold of me. Like to get some of their music up on the Podsafe Music Network or GarageBand or one of those places, so that it can be available. There's just not enough acoustic, old-time, and bluegrass music out there. And these guys, I'm guessing they're in their 20s and maybe 30s. So they're kind of a young bunch, and it's really good to hear younger people getting into bluegrass, old-time acoustic music. I guess they're hard to classify, just like a lot of groups out there, a lot of independent artists. By the way, you can check them out at www.thewildturkeyoutfit.com. At least that's what's on the CD. I haven't actually checked to see if that's good, but you can also look them up on MySpace, the Wild Turkeys. Anyway, enough of that for right now. Let's see. Like I said, boring week. Supposed to get into some sub-zero temperatures around here later this week. By the way, I changed my audio settings just a little bit, so hopefully it doesn't sound too ridiculous. Of course, I'm always changing my audio settings and complaining about them and all that. You know how that goes. Either I'm a perfectionist or I have a tin ear. Or both. Something like that. Let's see. Yeah, like I said, we're supposed to get high temperatures for a little later this week, or +2 for a high on Thursday, I believe. But it's going to slowly cool off, and we're supposed to get some lake effect snow and all that good stuff. And the Wild Turkeys guys, being Canadian, I don't know what -2 is. It's in Fahrenheit. That's got to be -12 or 14 Celsius. I don't know. No good at that. Sooner or later, the United States will get on the metric bandwagon. Not that I really care whether they do or don't, but you know what? The rest of the world's on it. We should follow suit, and we should know more about that. I can pretty much figure out kilometers. That's not hard. But temperature, it's a little bit different. I know 0 Celsius is 32 Fahrenheit, and -40 Celsius is -40 Fahrenheit. Did you know that? At minus 40, both the scales are the same. So if someone says it's minus 40 out, it doesn't matter whether it's Fahrenheit or Celsius or centigrade or whatever. Why is it they call it Celsius and centigrade? Oh well, at least it's not 40 below Kelvin. 'Cause I don't think that's possible. So anyway, hey, keeping on the vehicles, like I said, that song I played was called Cheap Old Truck. I've got one from the Funny Music Project by Steve Goody. I think that's right. Anyway, it's called Frank's Garage.
So you're in an economic pickle with your great big sports utility vehicle. Can't afford the fuel, can't sell it, can't trade it. What the hell you gonna do? I know a guy. He's been turning wrenches for years. You should give him a try. And yeah, you can pay him with beer. Come on down to Frank's Garage, bring him your big old motor. They'll take your SUV apart and build you 2 Toyotas. Forget biodiesel and solar. They'll cut your SUV in half and make 2 Corollas. Tired of getting 30 gallons to the mile. Need something smaller than your domicile. That means your house. Come on down to Frank's Garage with that Hummer you're so fond of. They'll take your SUV apart and build you 2 damn Hondas. He's got the tools and the price you can afford. He'll cut your SUV in half and make 4 Accords. Gas is $20 a quart, but Frank don't want you no import. See how many Mini Coopers he made out of one excessive Escalade. Escalade. Escalade, Escalade. Come on down to Frank's Garage with that big old Dodge Dakota. They'll take your SUV apart and build you 8 Toyotas. Frank's not out there hugging Priuses. He's cutting Navigators into Priuses. Frank once worked at the Hummer plant, but last year he got fired. Now he turns 2-ton Tonka tanks into tiny little hybrids. Come on down to Frank's Garage. He's east of Escondido. He'll take your SUV apart and build you a fleet of Geos. There's no need to fret, bro. With a new Suburban and a K Suburban, he'll make you 16 Metros. Yeah, come on down to Frank's Garage. It's worth the wait in line. Come on down to Frank's Garage. It's 2 for 1 all the time. Come on down to Frank's Garage. A gas price is killing you. Come on down to Frank's Garage. You can run on 1 cylinder.
Jeez. Yeah, I think he's trying to sound like Dylan there, don't you think? So, yeah. Yeah, well, with gas prices down now, I don't know how long they'll stay down, but they'll stay down for a little while anyway. It's not so bad driving a Escalade or my old rusty Ford truck. In fact, last night I filled up the Toyota. I think I paid just over $30, and it was sucking wind because I got around a 16-gallon tank, and I put 15 point something gallons of gas in it. It was crazy. And I remember, in the height of the gas prices this last summer, I put, I know it was well over $60 to fill that car once. And the pickup and the Cadillac both took well over $75 to fill. So, getting out of there for $30, that's awesome. Of course, I'm burning a lot more gas with the cold weather. For Christmas, I got Kathy a automatic car starter, one of those wireless key fob deals, and whatever apparatus in the car that starts it. So now she can sit at the kitchen table, and when she's 10, 15 minutes away from leaving, she can start her car and it'll start and warm up in the driveway. And I don't know if those of you in the southern climates have ever heard of such a thing, but it's pretty popular up here. But we finally got one for the Cadillac, and of course I've had one in the Toyota for so long as I've had the Toyota. And it's the greatest thing, man. You know, hit the button a couple of times. It runs for 15 minutes and shuts off if you don't go out there. And by the time you get out there, the windows are all melted, and you can scrape them easily if need be. Or sometimes, like mine's in the garage, but I have to leave the garage door open so that the fumes don't build up. So I open the garage door before I start the vehicle. But, in my case, I don't have to scrape snow. But, see, my Toyota is the only one that'll fit in the garage. So, yeah, I planned it that way. So, anyway, we haven't really had a lot of snow the last few days. Probably 3 or 4 inches. But around here, that's not significant. It's not significant enough for me to go out and start the snowblower and blow out the driveway. But we're stocking up on wood. We've got a bunch of wood out in the woodshed, but we brought a whole bunch into the house yesterday, getting ready for this sub-zero stuff. It's always nice to have a fire going on in the fireplace, nice big roaring, crackling fire when it's 15 below outside, and inside it's a nice balmy 80 right around the fireplace, and keeps the furnace from running so much. Of course, I got the furnace running down here. It's a whole 66 degrees here in the basement, in the studio. Which, like I said, it ain't bad, but and it's a whole lot better than what's going on outside. I haven't looked recently. Let me bring that up. I've got the thermometer right there. Okay. Oh, it's only it's 20. Oh, hell, that ain't so bad. But yeah, Tuesday's supposed to be a high of 9. It doesn't say what the low's going to be, but a high of 9 with a 17-mile-an-hour wind. So I'm sure the wind chill will be nippy, to say the least. So, still haven't heard from Curtis Cross. So, Curtis, if you're listening, email me. Put out a podcast. Do something. Only thing I hear from him is his Twitters. And I don't know. Don't know about those Twitters. So why is it that I get bounced emails for emails that I didn't send? Must be some spammers spoofing my email. Guess that's pretty typical these days on the interwebs. So anyway, I want to play another song from the Wild Turkeys. This one's pretty fast. So only 2 minutes. So if you want to fast forward to 2 minutes and 18 seconds. This is called, it's a really long song, and I can't read the whole thing because of Cast Blaster. So let me run, there we go. I'll read the whole name of the song. It's called I Sat on an Ant Hill and Now Red Ants Are Biting Me in the Trousers. So anyway, here's the Wild Turkeys.
If you got ants in your pants, get up and dance. If you got ants in your pants, get up and dance. If you got ants in your pants, get up and dance. If you got ants in your pants, get up and dance. pants and get up and dance.
What's that you say?
If you got ants in your pants and get up and dance.
What's that you say?
If you got ants in your pants and get up and dance.
What's that you say?
I said now ants in your pants, get up and dance. If you got ants in your pants, get up and dance. If you got ants in your pants, get up and dance. If you got ants in your pants, boy, get up and dance.
Haircut.
2 bits.
Blueberry.
This podcast is a member of the Blueberry Network. Blueberry. No E's. That's Blueberry, BLUBRRY.com. Blueberry.com.
Okay. Well, that was, I'm not going to read the whole, well, I can read the whole name of that song. It says, I sat on an anthill and no red ants are biting me in the trousers. I think a better name for that would have been just Ants in Your Pants. Anyway, that was the Wild Turkeys. Okay. And, of course, we heard the Blueberry tag. Please support Blueberry.com if you are so inclined, if you're a podcaster or just a podcast listener. They've got a really neat thing over there called MyCast. And I just sort of discovered that here recently over at Blueberry. You can take any podcast that's listed on the Blueberry Network, which is a fair amount of them, even though, even podcasts that aren't, like Mevio podcasts or Podshow podcasts. I mean, there's a whole bunch of podcasters who've also put on their Blueberry page. So, it's not just the ones, those of us who promote it a lot. But anyway, you can put a whole bunch of RSS feeds together, a whole bunch of podcasts, and add them to MyCast. And then all you have to do is subscribe to one of them, or subscribe to the one feed, and you can add and subtract podcasts from that feed. And that way it makes it a whole lot easier and, kind of lines stuff up for you. I've done that with a bunch of small podcasts, that are little short ones that I listen to. The Quick and Dirty Tips Network and Bill Creata's 5-Minute Podcast and SDR News. And, there's a just a whole slew of them that are, 5 to 10 minute podcasts. And rather than having to subscribe to all of them separately in iTunes, I just made a MyCast over at Blueberry.com. And anybody can sign up for a free account, by the way. And took all those podcasts and put them in one feed. And that way I've got my feed of short podcasts that all come in on a single feed, and makes it a whole lot easier. That way I just take that whole thing and throw it in a playlist and listen to a whole bunch of short podcasts. Sorry about the noise there. It's what's known as the condensate pump on the furnace. Takes all the water generated by the furnace and pumps it up into a pipe and down the drain in the slop sink. But it's kind of a loud pump, so if you heard that, that's what that was. And if you didn't hear it, well, sorry for mentioning it. So, anyway, it's going to be a nice long winter here, I'm afraid, this year. But I'm trying to stick to the once a week podcast schedule. I haven't done too well with the blog post a day thing, but that'll go in spurts, I'm sure. But go over and check it out, MikeDell.com. But I should have something new there more often than not. And well, while the Wild Turkeys were live in the studio, I did do a Ustream video, so you can go over to Ustream.tv, search for MG Dell, and it should be the latest video. If you're listening to this sometime close to the 12th, 13th, 14th of January, I might have some more Ustream stuff up there later. But anyway, you'll see those guys playing in the studio. Of course, I didn't have a good camera. I just had my MacBook there, so it was kind of a fixed focus deal. So anyway, so what is it that I've got here? I've got one more thing from the Wild Turkeys, and this is for all of the teenagers that walk around with their pants drooping off their butts. The Wild Turkeys have a solution for that.
Hike your pants up. We, the Wild Turkeys, believe that kids these days are wearing their pants far too low. We hike them up. Now call your cows home. I'm half foot dry, but I'm mostly wet. I got a couple of bars before the cornbread set. My pickup truck got a loaf in the dump, and I'm trying like hell to pull the roots from the tree stump. Read the good book mostly every day, and if I had good looks, I'd probably throw them away. I'm clearing a field to grow an acre of corn, and I ain't stopped singing since the day I was born. Now that I have been hayfield pruning, Lord knows, 'cause it's not pretty and it ain't for the city folk. I'm hayfield pruning, yeah, right out loud. I'm gonna keep singing, make my mama proud. If you don't have a field, you can sing in your backyard. If the neighbors start yelling, you can sing in your car. Crooning's like yelling, only singing a tune. You can make the words up if you're in the mood. If I had just about 8 more senses, I sing the high snow fly over the fences. Now that I have been hayfield pruning, Lord knows, 'cause it's not pretty and it ain't for the city folk. All right there. My mom always told me you gotta eat your potatoes. You gotta eat potatoes. Eat potatoes. Eat potatoes. You got to tap your toes. Tap your toes. Tap your toes. Tap. Now you got to churn the butter. Churn the butter. Churn the butter. Churn. You got to slop the joes. Slop the joes. Slop the joes. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I'm trying to pedal my 12 feet uphill faster. I'm a preacher's son, but I ain't no pastor. Toothless dog is putting gum to a bone, makes me want to eat steak when I get home. Misused, faded, torn up suspenders, and that's alright, 'cause I'm strong and a fender. Oldie, ripped up, tattered jeans, but I'd rather spend my money on a carton of ice cream now. That I have been hayfield pruning, Lord knows, 'cause it's not pretty and it ain't for the city folk. No, it's not pretty, 'cause it's not pretty and it ain't for the city folk. Now call your cows home. Come, bears.
Okay, and that was the Wild Turkeys again. That was Hey Field 'em Crooning. I don't know. Pretty funny. And like I said, they're great live. And if you ever get a chance, if you're ever in Michigan or Ontario, they're going to be all over the place in Ontario. And they were all over the place in Michigan. Traverse City was their last stop for this round. And go check them out if you get the chance. Like I said, I'll have links to all their stuff on the show notes at MikeDell.com. Should be good. And I'm thinking, since I'm in the position to starting to meet some of these folk artists and bluegrass and old time music artists, that I might just start yet another podcast. I'm thinking, some sort of bluegrass music podcast or folk music podcast. There's enough folk out there in the Podsafe world, and plus what I can gather from doing interviews on the radio show, and I'm pretty sure I could probably get these guys to, or at least a couple of them, to do an interview for the podcast. That would be cool. Could do that via Skype, and maybe if I get the word out, it might be something to do. By the way, Strange Today pretty much is pod faded, at least for now. I just can't seem to get motivated to get that going again. So if you know any way to motivate oneself to do a podcast, let me know. So I like this one because I can do whatever the hell I want on this one. Strange Today is kind of a formatted thing. And oh yeah, speaking of pimping other podcasts, we're going to have a very special guest. At least we have him scheduled for the next What's Up With That podcast, which should be out in about a week with any luck. So I guess I'll spill the beans. We're going to have Matthew Ebel of, he's of Podsafe music fame and other things, and Brock Island, and he's a friend of the show, so it'd be really cool to see Matthew and have a chat with him and record it for posterity. So I guess that'll do it for me this time. You've been listening to the Mike Dell's World podcast from Mike Dell's World headquarters here in Traverse City, Michigan. This podcast is created under a Creative Commons 3.0 license with attribution, which means if you're going to use this for anything, at least give me credit for it. And if you're going to try to make some money, cut me in on it. So with that, everybody have a great week, and hopefully we'll see you here, or hear you here, or you'll hear me here anyway. I'd like to hear back from you guys, so email Mike at MikeDell.com, really hard. So anyway, catch me later.
That's all, folks.
This podcast is produced with Cast Blaster.